GoldStone Resources has provided an operational update regarding its Homase Gold Project in southwestern Ghana. I'm delighted to be joined by the Chief Executive, Emma Priestley. So, Emma, last year production was halted. It was your Annus horribilis. It was halted while the processing plant was redesigned. So what condition was the plant like when you took that decision, and what's it like now?
Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, it was a bit of a horrible year last year. Look, we did take the decision to halt production. We had to make major modifications to the plant, and it was obviously in 2022 our overall production of gold for the year was down. The modifications involved bringing in a screen, just literally screens, improving the screens, improving the agglomeration drum with the cement feed, and installing the installation of a radial stacker. And those three sort of simple pieces of equipment have actually enhanced that processing, and it's enabled our recoveries to go up from the 34 to 40% up into the 60s. So we've been averaging that 68% now for the last 7 months. So we've simple modifications. Just managing that plant feed has made all the difference.
So this new redesigned utility, those simple modifications, what does it mean for expenditure? Have the modifications paid for themselves yet, or when will they?
Yes, they have. The modifications have paid for themselves. The modifications were made out of the monies that we raised in that convertible loan note at the beginning of January 2023. And as I said, because it was nothing excessive. I mean, the beauty of heap leaches, you don't need a lot of expensive equipment. But those modifications very much paid for themselves. And obviously, we're wanting to now ramp up that production, which was all part of the small amount of money we raised just before coming back to trading this year. And we're hoping to be ramping up that production over the course of the next 6 months. And just coming back to the modifications and how it's going to enhance production, look, the plant that we've got is quite capable of stacking between 200 to 250 tonnes per hour. And, you know, we're always going to be on the conservative side, after all that. That's what Goldstone's been through. But 200 tonnes an hour, we can very easily start the stacking when the aims of 2,000 tonnes per day, which of course will give you between that 50 to 60,000 tonnes per month. Now, the grades that we're producing, well, we're actually stacking at the moment. We've got average grades of 1.1 grams a tonne, and people can very simply do the maths of what the contained gold is going to be that's going to be agglomerated and stacked on that heap, and against our recoveries, where we're using a conservative recovery of 65%, we can start to very easily build that production up to get up to the 1,000 ounces. So yeah, the modifications made, the simple pieces of equipment are there, they're paid for themselves, and we're going to start and utilise them properly now by ramping up production.
And investors are already seeing the fruits of your labour, because there's a lovely photograph of a 280-ounce gold bar in the most recent RNS. Do you have a gold room?
We do. Just needs to be used more often.
And how will you ensure that it is used more often?
Need my boys to start stacking more, and then we can start to produce more. Yes, that's it. The more you stack, the more gold comes out.
Understood. Okay, so there's also the visual of the laboratory. Is this for in-house only, or can you outsource this or white label it for other companies to use?
No, this is for in-house use. Prior to it being commissioned, we were obviously outsourcing a lot of our the assay work that we need to do, because when you're mining, there's continuous grade control, and that is why all mines, when they get into production, you have your own in-house laboratory, and having that has really enabled us to keep better controls of our grade control and really help us keep those controls on what's going on in the heap, what's coming off the heap. So of course it's enabled us to improve those recoveries. But that laboratory, fully commissioned, it's very nice, but no, we don't outsource it.
Understood. Now, can you add some colour to the exploration activities that you hope to engage with, the ones that you hope will expand Homase's current JORC resource?
All geology departments in every mine, they all want lots of money to throw at drilling. But obviously, I haven't got the surplus cash to throw at that just yet. So look, we're taking it slowly and steady. We're doing an awful lot of desk reviews. We are fortunate. We've got an awful lot of data, and we inherited a lot of data from the former operators here, which was then Ashanti Goldfields Corporation, which is now AngloGold Ashanti. And we do have a lot of data that we are plowing through. Magic wand, obviously, if we had surplus cash, we'd have drill rigs all over, and we'd be drilling out that JORC resource along strike and at depth. We would take the JORC deeper. Currently, the JORCs estimate, on average, is down to about 220 metres, and it is all open at depth. Obviously, previous RNSs, current RNS, we're just trying to highlight and just remind the market that we do have some decent rates in this project. Not in the oxide cap that we're mining currently, but obviously as the deposit goes deeper, go through the transition zone, we get into that fresh ore, which of course is the sulfide ore. Now it's those grades there, and we know from previous metallurgical test work that Ashanti Goldfields Corporation did, that test work showed that fresh ore is predominantly non-refractory, which is a big bonus. And at the grades in certain zones within that ore body are averaging 6 grams a tonne. Now, what we do need to do is what we would like to infill the current JORC resource, because there's areas within the JORC where the spacing is 200 meters spacing on the diamond drilling. So, of course, that's why we're fairly confident that when we do start doing the drilling for exploration, that we can very much improve that JORC resource.
Okay, just a couple more questions, Emma. And I know that you're also committed to a long life mining operation at Homase. How long is long? What's the ambition in terms of life of that resource, that utility, that asset?
This project that we have at the moment, how long's a piece of string? If you keep drilling, it's like look at our neighbour, look at Obuasi, okay? They're now mining below, they're mining between 1 kilometre and 2 kilometres. But, they're sitting with about, I think it's about 27 million ounces. I can't quote them, I've not checked it. But they're mining on average now a grade of between 7 and 8 grams a tonne. And they're 1 kilometre deep. We're only on the surface. So as I always say to people, where we are, and we're only 20 kilometres along strike from Obuasi, we are where Obuasi was 25 years ago. Okay? What's long-term mining? Look, we might not be as big as Obuasi yet, but we hope that when we start drilling, we drill down at depth, that there is a bigger ore body sitting down there.
Understood. So finally, why should investors put GoldStone Resources on their watch list, Emma?
Why? Because we're low risk. We've got all our infrastructure paid for. We're in production. All we're doing now is we are building on that investment that we have made this last 3 years. Okay? Yes, there's been mistakes. We've corrected those mistakes, and we're just building on production. So, we're a going concern. We're in production. We're most definitely one of the cheapest gold producers on the stock market at the moment. And yeah, why not? We're in a great jurisdiction. Ghana is a darling of Africa.
Lovely. Emma Priestley, Chief Executive of GoldStone Resources Limited. Thank you very much indeed for joining us.